Have you heard about that American bloke who said he signed for Leeds?
Yeah, it's just a complete lie.
American footballer. I don't think he's ever played pro.
No, he got called for trials at that big Vegas tournament, remember? That's what he said.
He said he got a trial at Vegas earlier this year and then signed with an agency.
He just put it all over his Instagram, hasn't he?
I know.
And then his news on his YouTube and social media that he signed for Leeds, and they've come and just gone, no, of course not. Why would we sign?
What's he expecting though? Like no one to ever say like, why have you never moved to Leeds?
Yeah, why did you never actually go?
You're not playing for him.
Thought you were professional.
You're a professional contractor. You're not even bothered going.
He just wants everyone to think he's a professional for 30 minutes, and then when they find out he's not, then he doesn't bother, does he?
This is the day we're living in social media, isn't it?
You just say whatever you want.
Just say whatever you want, just put whatever out, then record it just for likes, views, subscribers, whatever it is. Like.
But the worst bit is his Leeds have had to come out and say, no, not. They have to go and defend something that's not even true.
We're playing for England against Sri Lanka in the next Test match. If you look it up, it might not say that, but we are.
Yeah.
I'm running for president of the US.
Yeah, you'll win.
The next time.
You've won it, haven't you?
You've already won.
Sorry, yeah. I'm now the American president.
You've already won. Don't look
forget
it
to
up.
like and subscribe. Hit that bell.
Right. Shall we jump into it, lads?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So this week we played the early game. 2 games were on Thursday. We were one of them at home to Huddersfield. Obviously that's because of the extra game we've got to play this week, same with Lee. But I actually enjoy a Thursday game, you know. What do you guys think about it? I like being on a Thursday. You know, you can watch the rest of the league and not worry about your fixture.
It's in summer holidays.
But like when you're on a...
You don't have to go to work on Friday, that's why.
I know, but like, when you're on a Sunday and you've watched all the teams around you win, and you've got to win on Sunday, a bit of pressure on it, you get your win in early. I don't know, I sort of like that. That's why I like playing Fridays.
I like Thursdays. Because nothing else you're going to do, is there?
No,
Do you know what I mean? What is it doing on a Thursday? So at least when rugby comes on, you think, oh, I'll watch the games. Like, you do something in that day to look forward to.
Yeah.
There is a Thursday this week, Salford and Saints. That should be a good game.
Yeah, well,
28 points to 14. Won this game.
Yeah.
Losing 6-0 at half time.
8, wasn't it?
8, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
they kicked the penalty.
Just
8-0. Just before half time. But I think we've got to start right at the beginning. This game could have been so different really early on. We have a really good set where we just march downfield, get to the 40-metre line, put a play onto the left-hand side and put Marshall through. I think, Matty, you described it as 15-on-1.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. There's... I'm trying to think who was there. Smith, Wardle, Farrell, Field was there.
Field had made the break initially, set it up.
And Marshall coming 15-on-1 to Connor. Tries to go round him. Very strange decision that. Obviously Connor manages to get the ankle tap. They make the tackle and it stays 0-0. It could have been 6-0 in the first minute of the game. And I think from that moment on, for the next 25 minutes, I don't know what your guys' opinions were, but we felt nervous then. It was 0-0, and I think that pass, or pass that didn't happen, would have completely changed us. Made us more relaxed.
We were nervous. The longer it stayed 0-0, we were nervous. I think because as well, we were struggling with the attack and everyone could see that. We were a bit stunted and it felt bad, like we had a lot of errors early on. It was probably 4 or 5 big errors early on. And it just looked like we were never going to score in that first half.
The thing is as well, with look at the 2 weeks previous, you don't want it to be a case so they could get very sour very quick with everyone thinking, oh, here we go again.
And, that's what I mean about that. I just think
we needed a good start, really, didn't we?
We convert get 6-0 up and everybody says,
oh, we're on it, yeah.
We're on it, back on it, back couple of weeks, move on. But because you stay at 0-0 and then eventually go 6-0 down, that we'll talk about in a minute, it just puts you under unnecessary pressure, and you then make a knock-on or whatever, and the pressure just amplifies. So in that case, I think we were our own worst enemy, if we're being honest. Should we talk about Huddersfield's try? They go 6-0 up.
Jake Bibby.
It's
his former club. It was a...
We love conceding a try to former players.
All of the tries were from former players this game, weren't they?
But I do think we love conceding them.
Because there's a lot of former players, Wigan players hanging about the league, that's why.
If you're going to concede a try, it's pretty likely it's going to be from a former Wigan player more than any other team.
But I think a little bit of credit has to go to Huddersfield here, that they were prepared to throw the ball around. When they had it in possession, they played early, played a lot from their own half, which was a very Huddersfield thing to do as of 3 weeks ago. Maybe that's what the new coach has brought in the interim.
It's the way to beat us, though, isn't it? You can't really beat us through the middle. It's the way to beat us on the edges. It's like Hull FC did, just throw the ball out and hope for the best, and it's what Lee will do, I'm sure.
Definitely. But they do really well here to get the ball out to the left-hand side really quick. And Jake Connor, we know that there is flair there. Probably not his greatest game, but he did have a good moment here. Gets on the outside of Ryan Hampshire, just manages to draw Eckersley and create that 3-on-2.
No, can't have been Eckersley.
Not Eckersley, Kieran, sorry. Kieran. Just draws Kieran.
You're alright drawing Eckersley, he was on bench.
But
it's a serious move, that, isn't it? You're drawing him blocks from bench for a drawn pass.
But he just engages Kieran by just getting on the outside of Hampshire. Gets the ball to Jake Bibby, and a very strange pass.
He juggled it.
And then slaps it to the winger.
Yeah, he slapped it to the winger. An open palm slap.
A little bit forward. Are we in agreement that it might have been forward?
It looked forward, yeah.
I don't think it was as forward as everyone thought.
Jake Connor thought it was forward.
Yeah, Jake Connor thought it was forward in his reaction.
You're not going to go to the ref and start telling me it was forward.
No. He watched it back on the screen and laughed.
Nah.
But
so we knew he got away with it.
They got away with him, but you know,
it was forward. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thought at the game, just because of how it's bounced off Bibby's chest and he's knocked it. But then obviously does really well to carry on the move and receive the ball back and score.
Helsall gives it him back, doesn't he?
Yeah, was really, really good. What you should do as any player, back up the player that you've been involved in. This is where I have an issue, me though. I want to hear your opinion on it. Why do we not just take him to ground? Because in that contact with Bibby, we were already in a tackle with him, and we sort of just let him go and allow him to back up. And I just think just hold him. And it is one of my bugbears. I don't know about you guys. I just don't think when you're involved in that, you should be able to just carry on and run through. Like, it felt a little bit too easy to get to 6-0. What do you think about the next 25 minutes?
We were battering on the door a bit, but we didn't really look like we were going to score. I felt like we were looking. We were in the east stand. We were looking to our right the whole half. It felt like.
I feel like we did very well from our own try line to the 20-metre line.
And yet it should have been 14-0 to them because they missed an absolutely glorious opportunity.
Yeah.
Where they did a shot, didn't they? Threw the ball out wide and McGowan dropped it where the line was just open for him. And I thought, well, if that's a try, 12-0, you never know. It's really tough.
Would have been 14.
Yeah, tough mountain to climb that. So, yeah, it felt like we were watching to our right the whole time. We were always watching the defensive line. But we didn't really offer anything. We didn't look like we were going to score. We kept coughing up the ball every time we put a move on. We were disjointed. Guys were overrunning.
I think it's been the problem with the last couple of weeks, hasn't it? It's just been very clunky, very un-Wigan-like with uncharacteristic errors, and I feel like that there's people talking about. I don't think the big problems doesn't need vast, radical changes.
No.
It's just something as simple as just simple core skills, catch, pass.
Yeah.
Fix that up, and we're fine.
And I think we certainly did that in the second half. Where in the first half we must have made 10 errors, 10 simple errors.
It felt like it, yeah.
Probably an exaggeration, it was more like 6 or 7. But if you don't stay down there and you don't keep the pressure on, a lot of Wigan's tries come from repeat sets, staying down there. The more time you have the
Well,
ball,
it's the same for any team.
But it's more time you have the ball. We talked about we've not got penalties and we've not been getting 6 against. But we didn't keep the ball enough. The longer you have the ball, the more chance, I should say, you're going to get a penalty. The longer you keep the ball, the more chance you're going to get a 6 again. And we just didn't do that. Didn't do it at all. And we end up going in at 8-0. And
Lucky to be 8-0, really.
lucky to be 8-0, yeah.
But big chances.
Yeah. Now, I would have loved to be a fly on the room at half-time. What was Matty Pete saying? What did the team talk about? Because I can't imagine things were great. And the second half didn't start off great either. We dropped the ball. Was it the second set? Harry Smith trying to make a kick. Just straight up drop the ball. And you think it's more of the same. We then get camped down in our own half. And it actually comes, Jake Wardle's try 8 minutes into the second half. It comes from an attacking kick for Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Now, I know we end up going and scoring, and it's a real game changer. We talk about game changers all the time. That's a 12-point swing. Jake Wardle doesn't defuse that. It's potentially 14-0 and a really bad start to the second half.
A 100-metre try is the biggest momentum shift in rugby league.
But before we go on to that, I think there's something that we need to mention. Obviously, they put the attacking kick in. Harry Smith stands his ground.
Yep.
Jake Connor runs into him. Smith never changes his line. Yes, he's allowed to watch Jake Connor. He's allowed to protect himself. The thing that he wouldn't be allowed to do is change his line, and there's been a lot of complaints about whether there should have been a penalty to Huddersfield, and I really don't think it is.
I've seen him given it. I don't think it is either, but I've seen him given it, and that's why it makes the forward pass less of a concern to me, because they just even themselves out, don't they?
Yeah, they even themselves out.
You get away with one, you get one against you, you get away with one. It just evens itself out, and that's just the way it is with human beings as referees. They tend to make just about as many mistakes for each team. So yeah, I think we might have got away with one there under a different circumstance. It might have been given as a penalty, but I also think Connor made a mess of it.
Makes a meal of it.
Made a big meal of it. Yeah.
I think the fact that
I think Connor doesn't help himself because the referees are probably used to him in every single game they ref where Jake Connor's in it, running over, complaining to him. So when you do that so many times, your argument loses legitimacy. You're just like, oh, you're always complaining, Jake, just shut up, it's a try.
He's the boy who cried obstruction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all the time, and he's probably not helping himself there. There he is, and how he does it all the time. Refs are less likely to actually take him, but what he's saying, he's just like, yeah, he does it all the time, just ignore it.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. It's just a process of, especially when he then hits the floor on his front and tries to throw his arms up in the air, and you go, that's not how you react. It's not how you react. You still deal with the danger. Jake Wardle does really well. Takes the catch, looks to find open space. The two big men in the middle for Huddersfield, he runs straight through. Do you think both of them will be disappointed with the tackle attempts?
Maybe. It's tough to tackle him at that speed.
It's tough to tackle him, but grabbing at shoulders is something that neither of them will be happy with.
No, but you got to give credit to Wardle. We've talked before, he's big, he's strong, he's athletic.
He gets through the line and creates an issue. Two guys try and chase him down. We haven't really seen a 100-metre sprint from Wardle, really. We've seen him over 30-40 metres.
First ever game when he ran away at Hull KR.
Again, showing he's got that turn of pace, fast enough to create an issue. and scores.
Yeah.
And suddenly the game's 8 points to 6, and you're thinking, this is a massive difference to what we were expecting.
We've got the momentum. Rolling through the middle with this set, after points. And how many times have we said this year we've scored and then we've just rolled them down the middle of the park and scored again? We're so good at that. When we score, we just roll through the middle of the park and score again.
Well, that's it. It was literally the next set that we go and score. And as a team, I know this is a Wigan podcast, but talk about Huddersfield again. You've got to be really disappointed to concede, winning by 2 points, and then let a team roll you down the field.
Yeah.
And concede.
Oh, yeah.
And this starts with Lehman. Jumps across the line. He was at first receiver for this, jumps across the line, throws a big cut-out ball to Marshall. Play's not really on, and he takes the tackle. We talk about shot. Slightly different circumstances. It comes from a kick. But we made a shot on the left-hand side with Marshall, and then we go back to the right-hand side with a Harry Smith kick.
This was a kick for Junior and Semba.
And I think the fact that Junior's there actually puts them off. Not puts them off, that's possibly the wrong word. But they're too worried dealing with December that Ryan Hampshire's able to just get in the right position and catch a ball.
Yeah.
It's numbers in the frame, isn't it? You know what I mean? You've got 2 Wigan players there, December and Hampshire. It doesn't really matter who catches it, they're both competing. You know what I mean? If you've got people competing.
But if December's tall, we know he's a big lad. But there's no Huddersfield guys making an attempt to attack this ball and claim it. And I'm not a fan of the let them have it and try and tackle them. Because I still think even December catches this.
Not that far from your line.
No. And you've got to get someone attempting it, and everyone's busy trying to act as a blocker and act as a shield, and no one's taking the responsibility of contesting this ball. It's probably why the kick to the second row was more difficult, because you're expecting your winger to go and claim it, or your centre, and kicking infield. There's no one really there to attack the ball. We convert, goes to 12 points to 8.
Yeah, I was pleased for Hampshire. Because he's taken a lot of stick.
Yeah, he hadn't had a great first half.
And he hadn't had a great first half. He made several errors and looked frustrated, cut a frustrated figure. And it just wasn't clicking for him. But I was glad that he got his moment here and he got his try.
Yeah.
Because, it's never nice for any player to get that sort of criticism.
No, not at all.
Especially one of your own.
So, 10 minutes goes by, stays at 12-8. Matty Pete said after the game, his plan was to get Field off at the 60th minute. He scores and then comes off in the 63rd minute, so he stole an extra couple of minutes out of him.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at this try. It's my favourite of the game.
Oh, it's a beautiful try.
It's a great try, yeah.
We have done a breakdown of the try. If you want to go and have a look on Twitter at the same time, it's definitely worth having a look at where we've really brought down into detail of how this try was scored.
You got your fancy new app out, didn't you?
Oh, I love it. I love it. There'll be more of that coming next year. But you talk about it, you talk about big forwards, hitting a post. Matty, you love talking about that. We set this play up perfect from start to finish. Hampshire had a shot right. We could have played out the back to field, but it wasn't on and he takes the tackle. Ethan Havard then steps up on the right post. And it's just a numbers game then. They number up wrong. We have an overlap.
You said yourself, Lewis, when you get tackled on a goal post, it's impossible to line up your numbers on the right.
It's the numbers, yeah. Your full-back's not obviously behind you, he's in the line at that point. So trying to get your numbers correct is incredibly difficult, yeah.
Liam Farrell does really, really well here. Really fast hands. Lola here's put him under a massive amount of pressure. But because of that being numbered up at the post and the numbers being slightly wrong, we do get the overlap with Field.
3-on-2.
3-on-2. And it just creates that 3-on-2 is so hard to defend. The centre and the winger for Huddersfield is Nguama and is it McGowan? Are worried about their men opposite Marshall and Wardle.
Yeah.
And Fields just sat on the outside shoulder of Farrell and just sneaks through that gap. Nagama, Tuilola here, who are dealing with their men. There's just the smallest of gaps. He hits a left foot step and gets through. And then to go left foot step, he beats, is it 5 or 6 men? It's phenomenal.
It's Jay Field at his best, isn't it?
Such quick feet.
It's hard to believe it's only his second try of the season.
Do you know what I was going to say? Is when, obviously, before he got his injury, he was setting up a lot of tries, but he didn't really look like the Field we know. Even though he's still playing incredibly well, we've seen him play. This was like, this is Field in his prime. This is a Field who's, top game.
And he's obviously had another hamstring injury. He suffered it in the Challenge Cup. Was it the second minute of the Challenge Cup?
It was very early.
It might have just been after Cooper had been...
Yeah, I think it was.
Sin-binned.
It was in between the sin bins, I think.
And a lot of talk about when he was coming back. When was he back? And I think Wigan have kept him back a little bit. Obviously, he was named in the 21 last week for the Warrington game. Wasn't picked. We know his issues with hamstrings previously, and I think this might have just been a case of just give him an extra week. An extra week of training, get back. Obviously, they give him 60 minutes in this. He didn't play the entire game, and I think we're going to see a fully fit Jay Field really, really back at his best. And he's only going to get better when Bevan comes back.
100%.
Because they work together brilliantly.
And it's credit to, Zach Eckersley and how much he's come on, that actually he gets a spot on the bench. So we don't have to risk Field playing 18 his first game back. You've got someone there, Eckersley, you think actually, you know what, he can go and do a job at full-back. And that's credit to him and how he's playing and how he's come on leaps and bounds this season.
And let's just talk about Eckersley while you bring that up. I think in the long run, Eckersley, for the next, in fact possibly for the remainder of the season, will have a bench spot. Until maybe Tom Forber's back, because Lehman is having to play 80 minutes, we're not carrying a 9 on the bench. I think there's potential that we'll carry an Eckersley. Or maybe a Ryan Hampshire when French is back.
Well, the thing is, Forber will be back a long time before French.
But one of them is going to have to play on the bench to give us an option to change things. Obviously, there's the talk that Hampshire can play a bit at 9, Kieran can play a bit at 9, Eckersley can fill in at anywhere between 1 to 5. So just having someone like that on your bench gives you such options to change things. It gives you options to rest the Field and not overplay him, because there are other concerns there. So at this point, Lehman and Field come off.
Yes.
Farrell goes into 9. Eckersley goes at full back, and 10 minutes later, Zach Eckersley scores from a play that we've seen before, but we've never seen it in this sort of play. Smith is sat at the scrum. He feeds the scrum. Ryan Hampshire puts the kick in. And we talk about adding another string to your bow, adding another page to the attack book, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Huddersfield not worried about this happening because Smith is at the scrum.
Yeah.
He doesn't run round and make himself an attacking option. It just seems like we're just going to set up and take a tackle. Hampshire kicks. Eckersley is lightning. It's incredible how fast he is.
If you've got Zach Eckersley lining up against Jake Bibby, and Jake Bibby has to turn and run with him, I don't know why you wouldn't just do this.
No, not at all. But again, it'll just make teams aware that Smith doesn't have to put the kick in.
No.
They don't need Field and French on the field to do this. Zach Eckersley could do it. And when you watch the video through, if you go and watch the highlights, I think, is it Adam Kieran's there as well? There's someone else in the frame.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And sort of giving up. They're not even chasing it because they know Eckersley's making it. Brilliant work. That makes it 26 points to 8. 3 minutes left. I was a little bit disappointed with this.
I was very disappointed. It was a good job it didn't mean anything, because this was really, really poor.
Kick to the corner. We talk about not contesting a kick. We don't really contest this kick. Kieran and Miski. Halsall jumps up.
Yeah.
And it is a good jump from Old Sol, and he's got. I'm not for one minute excusing it. I'm just trying to give credit where it's due to Old Sol. As a young player, he's gone up. He's not even put the hands underneath to try and catch. He's properly stretched his arms out to claim it. Yeah. He's done everything he can to catch that ball, but his job has been made incredibly easy by the fact that there's no one there challenging him.
But to me, it feels like we're just waiting for him to. He's jumped up and caught it. He's going to knock it back to someone.
If he does that, if we go up there with him and he claims it over the top of someone and scores, I don't mind that too much. If he gets up there against someone and he knocks it back and there's a bit of a scrap and they score, I don't mind that too much either. There is something to be said for not being too bothered when you concede from a kick, especially in this game situation. But for him to just go up there unchallenged and score like we give him a free try there, very disappointing.
Completely uncontested, and the fact that he lands and scores himself.
If the game was 14 apiece, would they have let him score like that?
Yeah.
I don't think so. And
I don't think they would have.
And that'll disappoint the coaches.
Yeah, I get what you mean there, Matthew.
Yeah. That takes it to 26 points to 14. We then get a penalty 2 minutes later.
It was on the hooter.
Basically on the hooter. And kick it. Sorry, I forgot where my words were going then. Take the 2. 28 points to 14. Considering I was disappointed with us for the first 47 minutes of this game, a very good result to take. I'm happy with it.
It was just about winning that game.
Yeah.
That Thursday night was just about winning.
I think you're right there, Matt. I was just about to say that I don't want to keep drawing on them too much, but after the 2 performances the previous weeks, it was just a case of get back to it anyway. End this bogey run that we're on. Don't care if it's ugly. Don't care, if it's not flashy or whatever. Don't care what you do. Just find a way to win.
Win. And win quite comfortably.
Yeah.
14-point win. 3-tried lead. However you want to put it. You got a job done. Probably deserve the win.
We definitely deserve the win.
Showed touches of class in attack, which we're not shown in the previous 2 weeks. Showed some composure in attack.
And some confidence, to come and, we talked about the errors in the first half, then come out and put a, kick scrum play on player 1. Yes, back yourself. You know what I mean? You've got the ability, so play freely, you know what I mean? Don't be too nervous or too scared.
We didn't mention the try field set up for Wardle that he dropped.
Yeah.
That left edge, it's usually so good.
So poor.
Field had given him 2 chances.
You don't see Jake Wardle make them.
Not often.
This was before we'd scored, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was in the first half.
So you sat worrying that everything's going to go wrong. When Jake Wardle's dropping balls, just cold, under no pressure, it's a serious worry.
But to win the game like that, when you don't play well for an hour and still win, you've got to be happy.
Yeah, definitely. Matty, we always do the Wigan Way points.
Yes. Wigan Way points this week were given to Havard for 3. I thought he was brilliant again.
Yep.
Thompson for 2 and Mago for 1. I think forwards deserved it this week.
Because we dominated the territory. We dominated
good
defensively.
Good defence, yeah.
And we had to do a lot more defending than we would have liked because of the errors that we made. So I think backing the forwards up front is there. Mago made a big impact in his second spell.
Mago actually was on the field for most of our tries. We turned the game around while he was on.
He was okay in his first spell, very effective in his second. Havard, defensively, he's really looked for contact. He's been the first man into pretty much every tackle he's involved in.
Yeah.
Luke Thompson did 55 minutes to start with, straight through.
Very good effort again from
him. Big players stepping up and big forwards stepping up.
Thompson's 3rd now on the points.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Big games he steps up, and when we need him, he's stepped up all season. Right. I think that wraps up this review of this game.
Yes.
I think so.
As well.
Back to winning ways, it's nice.
So we'll come back after this quick break and have a look at what's caught our eye this week. So we are going to talk now our Eyecatchers shot of the week, and we're going to start off with that shot of the week. None really stood out, has there?
No big hits.
No massive ones.
To
No.
say it's shot of the week.
Some good tackles though.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to start with Joe Burgess, his effort.
Joe Burgess wins shot of the
Defending.
week for a try-saver, basically.
Try saver on Roderick Ty. Some great play from Warrington, managed to get it out to Roderick Ty, gets across the field. Burgess
Never gave up.
never gave up, gets the tackle and holds Warrington out. Honourable mention, in the same game, Minchella's tackle on Drinkwater.
Yeah, try another try-saver.
Another try saver.
I thought it was a certain try.
Yeah, I think there's something that's so good about like a one-on-one try saver. They're brilliant, and I think it just makes all the difference in the game. But you could have easily just give up and not put that extra 1% in.
To Morgs against Saints at the start of this year. Do you remember that one? That was the best I can think of off the top
They
of my
make
head.
games, efforts like that, win games, tries, change games so you can save them.
Yeah. Right, so let's have a look at some things that have caught our eye. Matty, what's caught your eye this week, mate?
Our old mate Harrison Hansen and his team have gone 12 games unbeaten to lose.
Just played his 500th game on a Harrison Hansen.
So 12 games unbeaten in any league is pretty impressive, especially one you're not top in or heavy favourite in. So obviously Wakefield are big favourites in every game there, and one of those wins was against Wakey. So fair play to Toulouse. They had a rough start to the season, but they've turned it around. They've still got that coach Sylvain Ules, or Ules, however you say his name. Been there a long time now, and he's clearly got the best out of his team this year. So, yeah, 12 wins. Well, not 12 wins because they had one draw in there, but 12 games unbeaten for Toulouse. I really want them back in Super League.
Yeah. And that would be good to see another French team back there competing when it got them into Super League.
Yeah, French derby, and obviously they were getting reasonable crowds. Not amazing, but reasonable crowds. And they still are getting 5,000 or 6,000 most weeks, which is not bad, really, considering they're in Championship.
Right, Lewis, what's caught your eye this week?
Something in the league table has caught my eye. Hull KR have gone top, which is obviously talked about this quite a lot. I don't know if that has happened before. I mean, it might have happened after the first game of the season when they might have won a game and gone top. But I mean, to be this late, 20 games played, and obviously we're on 19 with the game in hand, but 20 games played and to be at the top of the table.
It shows continual improvement.
Well, it does. Well, I know I've talked about it on this podcast before. When I first got into rugby, Hull KR, it was an easy 2 points. Hull KR, they're one of the weaker teams. Hull FC was the stronger team in Hull, when I used to watch rugby. So it just shows where they've come as a club, and they're developing and bringing in the young players like Mikey Lewis, and it's really good to see. So
I'll tell you what, you look at the top of that division and they're holding the fort for Yorkshire teams, aren't they?
Well, they are indeed. Yeah, if we look quickly, Hull KR top, then it's Wigan, Wyatt, Salford, St Helens. Catalans is 6th, and the next Yorkshire team is 7th.
Leeds is 7th, yeah.
So yeah, they're actually the
flag bearers,
the White Rose.
Well, that goes into what's caught my eye, and we always talk about it, but it's really starting to become prominent here that the league sort of split into 3, I would say. You got your top 3 teams, Hull KR, Wigan and Warrington, all within 2 points. You could possibly mention Salford, but I'm gonna tie Salford in the race for the top 6. Because from 4 to 8, you've got Salford, St Helens, Catalan, Leeds and Lee. Salford sits at the top of that with 26 points. You've got Saints and Catalans on 24 apiece. And then you've got Leeds and Lee just outside the top 6 on 20 points and 19. Obviously, Lee have that game in hand. It's really tightening up. Catalan are in some poor form and will be disappointed after losing to London. We'll get into that. But there's, let's say, 6 teams competing there, and they're all competing to try and get a home semi by getting in at 4th. So a lot going on in that middle area. Huddersfield and Castleford are sort of in no man's land, not really competing at the top for the top 6 and the way from the bottom.
Quite a way away from the bottom, aren't they?
By a good 6-7 points. But then London winning against Catalan takes them on to 4 points. They've got a significantly worse points difference than Hull FC. But Hull FC sitting 11th on 6th and London sitting 4th. Who's going to finish bottom though?
Well, surely those 2 teams,
they still play each other.
They're still going to play each other because there's a loot fixture there with 10th and 12th, and that's how it works. So they've got to play each other.
The problem is London have got to get that extra win somewhere because of the points difference.
Yeah.
They play each other in 2 weeks' time at Hull FC.
Their chairman was still holding out hope they'd be in Super League next year. He's still not given up. He was talking yesterday and today about how he's still not given up on them being in Super League. I think that we've said this before, the obvious play is to go to 14 teams, but they won't do it because it would upset the owners. That's the obvious play, get rid of loop fixtures and add 2 more teams. But I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, what do we know? Because everyone likes going to Castleford 4 times and then not playing Leeds until round 20.
It's just ridiculous. We've got 7 games left and we've not played Leeds yet.
We've got playing twice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Play as a double header.
Just say just play once and say it's for 4 points. Play a neutral venue and say this is for 4 points this game, and double the points difference.
No. Well, that's the Eyecatchers done. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and go around the grounds. So we're going to go around the grounds now. I'm going to start off on Thursday as well. Obviously, Wigan played Thursday. There was another game going on over in Castleford. Castleford versus Leigh. Obviously, this game's been moved to a Thursday as well, so that Leigh have the same turnaround as us for the Tuesday game. Leigh win. Good that they get the win. They needed it.
What I noticed in this one, first, before we start talking about rugby, was that Castleford were wearing white and red. Kind of. And Leigh were wearing black and gold.
Yeah, very backwards kits.
Yeah, swap kits, didn't they, really? Or from what you would expect if it was like Leigh Centurions. Yeah, that was a bit weird.
I think this was a potential bogey skin for Leigh. Oh my god.
Bogey skin. Bogey skin.
I knew what I meant in my head.
What do you mean by a bogey skin?
Bogey skin. This is still recording, by the way.
Oh, I meant banana skin. Oh, messed up there.
A bogey game or a banana skin, and you combine the two and it came with a bogey skin.
That's a new thing, that bogey skin is going to be whenever there's a tough match. It really shouldn't be that tough. Like Hull away, that's a definite bogey skin.
Right, well, let's carry on.
But it wasn't a bogey skin because they won.
No, I thought...
But I know what you mean though, yes, it could have been a slip-up.
They avoided the bogey skin.
They're obviously, with their position, normally in the league they'd be looking at beat Cass, win the week after. But you know you've got this game coming up on the Tuesday. Do you rest players? Do you not? They're missing Matt Moylan and Gareth O'Brien. So they ended up with Hardacre playing full-back.
Jack Hughes was at 6.
And Jack Hughes named at 6. Mainly there for his defence, just to defend. But it could have been a real slip-up for them. And to be honest, the game starts off that way. Brilliant try from Castleford. Well put through hands. We were just discussing before that they always seem to get a brilliant try in most games.
Yeah. Cass score a try of the week contender, even when they lose.
And Fletcher Rooney scores, goes to 6-0. And there's loads of pressure on him. And I think to get back and win this game 20 points to 10 keeps them in touch, puts more pressure on everyone else because Leeds have lost. And I just think it's almost a perfect result for them going into this game on Tuesday. That they managed to get a win, not play great.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off.
And the teams around them, the results went for. Castleford put a decent effort up. Decent side, but they're not a top
Scored a
side.
lovely try.
Castleford are better than they were last year.
Yeah,
quite a lot better than they were last year.
Definitely, and that's a big thing. There's signs of improvement, and there hasn't been for a while. So now to see something, I'm really happy with what Craig Lingard's doing. I'm really impressed with what he's done already. So things are...
Not impressed with his orange bucket out though.
At least he's wearing shoes now.
He's wearing shoes, yeah.
But you get my point there, guys. I feel like there's so many promising things, and if you're a Cass fan now, this must be up there with the happiest that you've felt for a long time.
There was no positives last season, was there?
No.
Now there is. They've had a couple of beating Saints, you know.
The only positive last season was they weren't as bad as
Yes.
Wakefield.
Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing you
Even
could
some
say.
of the games they've lost, like they lost to us a couple of times, have been really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, KR, they lost to a drop
They're
ball.
scoring nice tries, they look nice in attack and stuff. So there's
Lee.
positives, isn't there?
They drew with Lee last
Drew with
time,
Lee.
and there was a draw.
Could have beat them.
There's definitely positives moving forward. So yeah, I think Cas fans will be a lot happier than they were last season.
Yeah. Right, let's move over to Friday. Hull KR Warrington.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of talk about this. Warrington had a tough run before this. Leeds, Saints and Wigan. Playing Hull KR is another top 4 side. Hull KR had a significantly easier running, I want to say, in the last 3 games. Hull FC, Leeds and London. Probably meant that Hull KR were a little bit fresher, and I think we saw that in the game. I think they just seemed a little bit more energy.
They started off like house on fire, didn't they? With their defence and finishing sets well, kicking deep and just defending so strong, like pinning Warrington deep.
Do you know what I think was a big contributor to that though? The fact that in the reverse fixture at Craven Park on a Thursday night, Wire turned them over. I think that would have not sat right with OKR.
We said that Hull KR needed to turn over a top side
Away from home.
Yes.
And that'll help the fans. You talked about the defence in a second to come at it. And I do think if they'd have played a Wigan or a Saints or someone the week before, they might not have had the reserves for the end of the game. With that easier fixture of London, sorry, it meant that they just had that reserves in where Warrington might not have. I think that might just be a grounder for Warrington. Bring them back to where they are. Obviously, they're not the finished article yet.
No.
They've always had some very, very good results. But they've still got a lot to prove. They've got to win it in October.
Yeah, that's it for White. I think generally, if you just said, you got 4 fixtures coming up, you got Leeds, you got Saints, you got Wigan, you got OKR, would you take 3 out of 4 wins? Didn't rip your hand off?
Absolutely.
I think they said, we'll take 3 out of 4 wins there. But yeah, the things with Warrington, all this now, because we know they've done this before as a club, haven't they? They've been good in the season, they've got up there, they've challenged, but then when push comes to shove, like you said, it's October, isn't it, for Warrington? That's when they prove it that they're the top team, they can do it. Can they win the big ones? They've lost one so far this year at Challenge Cup final.
I know your Eyecatcher was Hull KR at top of the league.
Yes.
Who do you think's favourite to finish top? Because what I want to throw out there, just to point this, talked about Wigan having a heavy away start to the season and having a lot of home games towards the back end. Hull KR are the exact opposite. Out of the last 7 games, there's obviously Magic and there's 4 away. They've got to go to Lee, they've got to go to Wigan and they've got to go to Saints. Teams that will all need results.
This was good for us that Hull KR won because Warrington has still got London twice.
Yeah. This was the result I wanted as a Wigan
So
fan.
Warrington have got the easier run home. And we'll talk maybe on Wednesday about runs home now when everyone's played 20 games. But I think Warrington have got the easier run home. Certainly much easier than Hull KR's.
To answer your question, I still think Wigan, would be the favourites with a lot of home games, and the fact that if we do win tomorrow, as we're recording this on Tuesday, we do go back to the top. We've got the game in hand. We're the only ones, it is in our control. And it's a big if, but if we do
win
the remaining fixtures,
especially our home games,
especially the home ones, we finish top.
Yeah.
And one of them is against Hull KR, of course, so that is still to come forward.
Well, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
Okay. Let's, I should just mention, John Bateman debut.
Yeah, off the bench.
Off the bench. Played down the middle.
Number 42. Ugly number for John Bateman, that isn't Number 42.
But he came on down the middle for Ben Curry. We're used to seeing him out on that right-hand side, but wherever he plays, he's gonna provide problems for teams.
Good defender, offload, strong runner, difficult to tackle, and get a dominant tackle, gets a quick play of the ball. That's just John Bateman, isn't it?
Yeah.
John Bateman, you know what you're going to get with him.
Right, Saturday, first game on Saturday, Hull FC played St Helens. This is where...
Potential bogey skin.
Can't be a bogey skin. They'd already lost 5.
Yeah, but this was a potential bogey skin because it was away at Hull FC. That's always a bogey skin for anybody.
This is where you can just see with Hull FC that they are a weaker side. They concede points far too easily in bunches. They did all right for the first 20, 25 minutes. Kept it at 0-0.
Yeah.
Had a couple of chances where they could have scored themselves.
Both sides had one disallowed.
And then Lewis Dodd scores. And then Tommy Makinson scores again before half-time. And it takes it to 10-0. And it's just a killer. They scored tries in bunches, St Helens. And Hull FC didn't score till the 79th minute. 46 unanswered points. I don't think we can look too much into St Helens beating Hull FC. I don't think Hull are a great side.
Well, they got what they needed, which was a win.
And some points.
Get back on the winning column. Arrest a slide down the table.
Definitely. The one lad I want to mention, the young fullback. Another good game. Robertson. Lively. I really like him. I hope that they just manage his workload.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't
Yeah, looks very, very useful. Saturday afternoon, Salford took on Leeds.
This one was probably the best described as a humdinger.
Yeah.
For some reason, I know the reason actually. These two teams got a bit of a rivalry. The reason is they keep swapping players. And these two fan bases can't deal with it when players want to leave. So they keep swapping players. And Leeds then tried to potentially steal the coach. And Salford fans got this chip on the shoulder about Brodie Crawford and Andy Ackers leaving and getting roly poached. And even though they got Nenny McDonald for the same reason. So there's a bit of a rivalry here between Salford and Leeds. But this was a really good game between two half-decent sides, you would say, at least half-decent.
I thought it was strange the way that it panned out. Obviously, Salford get a yellow card in the first 2-3 minutes, and Leeds put the points on, get to 12-0 within the 10th minute. As soon as Salford get back to 13, Leeds lose a man, yellow card, and Callum Watkins then scores for Salford. Takes it to
good
12
try.
points to 6.
Like this trying to use a short ball to Callum Watkins.
You know how much I love a short ball to a steaming second rower.
Salford will be a little bit disappointed because Leeds were still down to 12, but Brodie Croft scores a minute before the attacker comes back on.
Yep.
And gets it to 16-6. Callum Watkins then scores again, gets a double against his former club. Makes it 16 points to 12. And then the second half, Joe Mellor scores and Sneed converts. Couple of penalties from Mark Sneed makes it 22 points to 16. Another yellow card for Leeds in that half, in the second half. It was a poor second half for me from Leeds. Considering I thought they were the dominant side in the first half, it felt like a game of two halves, but no one was really better in either, if that makes sense. Leeds were a little bit better in the first, and then Salford a little bit better in the second.
Yeah.
There wasn't a standout in this, and that's why I think I'm not certain Salford will make the top 4. Because I think they're around a 6 or 7. They'll just make the top 6. I don't think they're that much better.
I don't think anyone will want to play them though in the playoffs.
But especially if they get a home advantage and fans get in there.
They're doing so well. Talking like when we did our pre-season episode, it seems like many moons ago now. We're talking about Salford not being as good because they didn't have the depth and losing Croft, losing Ackers. And considering actually now that they've gone this season with the limited squad numbers they've got and they're competing, they're doing fantastically well.
I think they made some handy mid-season signings as well.
And the other thing to mention is they gambled on David Noffaluma. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they've just been lucky with all the mid-season signings and they've all hit.
Some haven't worked.
Some haven't worked, no.
And obviously their off-season signing have cost injuries. They brought in Nick Arima that's worked.
Looks like it's working so far. Two good games.
Joe Bullock doing all right. Brad Singleton was in the off-season. I know he went on loan earlier
They've
on.
had Dudson, Singleton and Bullock all this year, haven't they?
Well, Bullock signed, was it 6 weeks ago? I know he did a couple of spells on loan.
Yeah.
But performing really well. Obviously, Chris Hankinson, don't spoil the disciplinary bit, but Nene McDonald's been banned, but they're going to bring in Chris Hankinson. A very good replacement. Not Nene McDonald. Laffey. And they're going to bring in Chris Hankinson. I'm not saying Hankinson's of the standard of Laffey, but he's a very decent replacement to have there.
Yeah, I like Hankinson.
Doing well. Right, Sunday.
Big result.
What was this game?
London.
For Catalan, what was it? It was a potential
It's not even a bogey skin. This is just. You should be able to play with one hand tied behind your back and win.
Yeah.
If I don't want to sound rude here, but if Wigan lost a man to London and had to play 80 minutes with 12 men, you'd still back us.
Yeah.
I'd still back us. And to lose, it's such a poor result for Catalan. I genuinely worry about them that they might not make the 6 after that.
I don't know.
Because their run does not get easier. They play Huddersfield next week, but then after that, they've basically got everyone in the top 6. It's really tough. Really, really tough.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I've got to give praise to London winning.
You could see how much it meant to them when they got the final hooter.
Yeah.
And they kicked that ball off. You could see how
I
much
just love how he nailed that just out.
I know.
Not diving on it, not just tapping it over. He's making sure that met Rose.
Yeah, get it off the park.
But a couple of big moments. Ollie Leyland stepped up at 40-20. That it was like a 30-10.
I know.
It's phenomenal. And they won big moments, and I'm really happy for them that they won that game. Catalans will be very disappointed.
The chairman hasn't given up.
No?
Still not given up.
No. Right. That wraps up around the grounds.
Yeah.
Any other comments, lads?
Just thought it's been an interesting week with a couple of, like I say, London a bit of a shock result.
There's been some results.
Salford Leeds, good game, nice
Yeah, good
close
game,
game.
Warrington
Okay,
and
Wire
Kyle
was
a good
a,
game.
you know, we've had a couple of
Good performance from
some
OKR.
good games. Tight game with Cass and Lee. You know, it's
Been a good week.
been a good week.
Yeah.
Very good. Right, that wraps it up. We'll come back in a second to go through a little bit of news.
Okay, boys, so it's time for the news. A couple of things on the list this week. A couple of announcements, a couple of contract things we're going to talk about. First one, it was SummerSlam, one of the WWE's big 4 pay-per-views. Wigan,
Hottest party of the summer.
the hottest part of summer is always the tagline for it, correct. Matty, we've got a WWE link to Wigan Roberts. Image has gone round of Jake the Snake Roberts.
Not Jake the Snake Connor.
Not Jake the Snake Connor, no, Jake the Snake Roberts, who was pictured in a Wigan shirt.
Wigan
essentially.
Warriors snake skin looking weird thing.
I don't know, does anyone know the background behind?
Yeah, I know. He trained for a while at the Snake Pit Gym in Wigan with the British Bulldog. And British Bulldog gifted him a Wigan Warriors away jersey.
Love it.
Did he wrestle a match in it?
He wrestled a match in it on WWF television. He wrestled a match in a Wigan Warriors away jersey with Narwhal on the front and everything. No idea why he wore it to the ring and wrestled in it. It was just given to him because he spent all this time at the Snake Pit. But yeah, he's still somehow got this connection. Somebody's obviously seen a Wigan shirt that's got some kind of snake print on it and thought, oh, Jake the Snake would like one of these. Let's give it to him, and he's worn it to SummerSlam.
Love it. I love it. Sticking with Wigan, next piece of news on the agenda, Lee Marshall extends his stay with the Warriors. He's signed a new, I believe it's 4-year deal with the Warriors. Good news. Don't think there's any much more to be said. It's
Great news.
Great news,
It's
yeah.
great news. I think
Fully deserved.
At this point, is it worth talking about the contract situation? Love Rugby League put a post out yesterday about Wigan's contract situation.
Yeah, well, I wonder how much we actually already know about this.
Well, there's a few that aren't included, but contracted until the end of this season. Willie Isa, Mike Cooper, Ryan Hampshire, and Jacob Douglas. But Douglas has an option for 2025.
I'm sure that'll be taken up if it's a team option.
Yeah. Contracted until the end of 2025. So the end of next season is Adam Kieran, Liam Byrne, and Liam Farrell, the club captain.
So only 3.
Sam Essay is in the same group, but he has an option for 2026.
So realistically, you're thinking there's 6 players that are out of contract in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. For squad retention, that is unheard of.
yeah. We had a couple of notes on the year, didn't we?
Yeah.
People signed, Smith signed, Wardle, I want to say, got a new deal.
Wardle got
Havard got a new deal.
French.
Until the end of 2026, so 3 years away. Cade Ellis and Patrick Mago. Mago's deal also includes a contract option for 2027. Tyler Dupree.
We're getting into the future now, aren't we?
Sam Walters, Tiaki Chan are all contracted until the end of 2026. Going to 2027, there's lots of names who are contracted till the end of this. This is the rest of this season and 3 more seasons away. Field, Smith, Miskey, Havard, Brad O'Neill and Junior Nasemba are all contracted down. Some young British talent. Luke Thompson and Cruz Lehman are also signed until the end of 2027. 2028, really in the future, but Bevan French is signed till then. Liam Marshall signed till the end of 2028, and Jake Wardle is signed until the end of 2029. So that's some phenomenal things.
And our coaching staff is 2030, isn't it?
Yeah, 2030. The only ones that haven't been disclosed are some young lads like Harvey Hill, Zach Eckersley, Forber, Harvey Macon and Jack Farrimond, who's obviously, they haven't been published as when they're contracted, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear some of them being signed.
Just professional, isn't it? So you're in a rugby league club, consistency, knowing where you stand.
If you want some long-term success, that's what you've got to do.
That's exactly it. It's long-term, isn't it? Especially with us. People always forget we're a very young team. Very young team.
This is the thing we're going to have to manage, and I mentioned this off the podcast, but it might be worth mentioning now. We're going to have to look at squad retention and releasing players at the right time. What you don't want to do is potentially end up in a situation like St Helens are in at the moment, where they have a lot of money spent on a core of 10 to 12 players that are aging.
Yeah, but they've won 4 league titles.
They've won 4 league titles.
So you take that.
Yeah.
I would 100% take winning the next 4 league titles if it meant we had a couple of years off after it while we reset.
I think every club goes through transitional periods.
They're not at the moment. They're in it at the moment, and the fans aren't happy.
Well, they just won 4 in a row. So
every club's going to go through transitional periods, aren't they? I've seen a similar thing with Leeds for the last couple.
But the thing is
for a while,
people are going to out of that. People are going to retire.
Yeah.
Some will potentially move on to the NRL or the Super League clubs and get big money.
Yep.
So they're signing up players long term.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Sticking, I suppose the last piece to kind of for some Wigan news, if you like. Sam Essay, done a bit of a stint this season. A couple of different clubs. I think he was at Cass, Leeds.
He was at Cass, but he never played a game. Did he? He got
injured.
injured.
He went back to Cass and he played 2 games.
I think he has played some. I don't know a lot. I haven't played more for Leeds, didn't he?
He played 6 games for Leeds, I think. And
he went to
really
Leeds.
Impressed with him.
But then I wonder whether the new manager doesn't want necessarily players at other clubs.
I don't know. I don't know. The Leeds fans seem to think they were pretty upset when he got recalled and sent to Hull. You never know really, because we have got to play Leeds twice, and he wouldn't be allowed to play in those games. So is it just a case of, well, there's only 7 games left, and if you can't play 2 of them, you might as well not send him on loan there.
Yeah. So sorry, that isn't. I know I said Sam Essay, and then I didn't actually say the news. The news is he's gone to Hull.
Hull FC, yes.
On loan. There is a recall clause in that.
Yeah, but it's a loan deal to the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's go across the pond. NRL. Some news coming from the NRL. We'll start with probably, I'd say, the biggest piece of news from the NRL. Sean Johnson absolutely caused England heartbreak in the semi-final of 2013 World Cup, but did so because he is and has been an outstanding player and a really, really good game for New Zealand rugby, I think, as well. Yeah. He's announced his retirement, so he'll be retiring at the end of this season.
What a player he's been.
Yeah, a real revival to his career last 2 seasons. Last 2 seasons.
Well, he's transitioned, hasn't he, into, rather than just being this game breaker that he was, he's developed into a dominator of games.
An out-and-out 7.
Yeah,
you'd say.
Controls games, still has that touch of flair, but he's probably made the Warriors a better team, and they've struggled this year because of his injuries. He is getting on. Like, how old is he? 34, 35?
I don't know, I wouldn't like to guess.
That
big moment of his was 11 years ago.
Yeah. And he'd been around a while then.
Yeah.
He hadn't just come
No, he
on
wasn't
scene.
a brand new player then. No.
So, do you know what?
Everyone's time comes, but Shane Singer, exciting player. Like I said, really good advocate for New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think it's almost good he's ending his career with the Warriors, being from New Zealand. I think that's a bit of a...
I think what he did last year with them, how well they performed last year in the buzz around the wires.
The up the wires movement.
Even though they're probably going to miss the 8 this year, a lot to do with injuries, and
They've sold out every single home game.
they've sold out everything.
Sean Johnson is a key factor in that.
Yeah.
You're not telling me otherwise.
100%.
Yeah.
Next piece of news final piece of news from the NRL, really. Signing Val Holmes, Australian international,
Yes.
Queensland representative, really good player, off to St George.
Yes. Another signing for the Dragons. They've also got, what's his name? Damien Cook for next year.
Yes.
They're going to get Damien Cook.
I always say with St George, it was always in that category, the last couple of seasons, low on the NRL ladder, but always seems to have a bit of a weak squad on paper. But actually, now they're signing some names. If you looked at this, you think, actually, they've got some decent players in there now. Do you know what I mean? Besides Ben Hunt, I suppose you'd kind of take out that.
Just, I wish Lomax was... I bet Lomax wishes he was staying now.
Yeah, would have been
Well, there's a few more they're looking at. St George, Regan Campbell-Gillard's on the radar.
Yeah.
Daniel Saifiti from Newcastle.
No, he's a good player.
So they're looking at some
forwards.
some forwards and some experience.
Yeah. So we'll see what comes for St George. Maybe a bit even more competitive next season, see how these go. Jumping back over, we've done Wigan news and NRL news. One bit of news before we go on to a bit of international, looking at England. Jake, this is a very weird news story. And it sounds, Jake Mamo has signed for the Midland Hurricanes. And I believe, am I right, he retired?
Yeah.
Did he retire? He's not been hanging about at a club, has he?
No, he retired.
About 18 months on it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I was going to say, I don't know if I was thinking to myself, has he retired or he just got off the radar?
I don't
He's
think
playing
he's-
somewhere I've not heard of him.
I don't know. I don't think he's played... Well,
I don't think
definitely
he
not-
played all last year.
He's definitely not played all this year. Whether he was in the Championship somewhere last year, I don't know. Like he did at Gareth Widdop.
Yeah, but in the
He retired at the start of 2023.
So, yeah,
to
it's
play
retirement
for the Midland Hurricanes.
from 18 months to...
Castleford announced that he was retiring on the 15th of the 3rd, 2023.
Midlands Hurricanes are mid-table in League One, for context.
Middle of the table.
Middle of the table, yeah, mid-table.
So
For a mid-table League One side. They'll be in the playoffs, probably in the playoffs.
it said that he retired with a back issue, and obviously you would expect that he wouldn't come back if that hadn't healed. But when you're a professional sports star and he's played for a long time at the top level, and you don't necessarily have something to replace what gives you that buzz and that contest, that competitive nature, maybe that's what he's looking for.
Yeah,
Opportunities to come about.
maybe. Good luck to him. Fair play. He's going to retirement. Hope he does well for himself and for the Midland Hurricanes.
Maybe he's a bit like a... This is properly niche reference, but there's the guy called Dave Steeb. He was a baseball player and he retired due to injuries. Then about 6 years later, he was doing some coaching, helping some kids out who were just messing about throwing the ball. And he realised his shoulder didn't hurt anymore. He ended up back in the major leagues. Maybe that's what Jake Mann was. He's woken up and he's gone, actually, my back's fine. Or maybe he's been messing about with his mates playing rugby in the park and his back's fine. He thinks, I can do this. I can have a comeback. And maybe he's just doing 6 months at Midlands just to test the waters.
Yeah. Well, like I said, best of luck to him. Final piece of news, England Rugby League. Not the men's team, but England Rugby League is the next couple of fixtures. We've got England versus Wales women coming up, and we've got England versus France wheelchair coming up.
It's a shame it feels like it's always England versus France. The wheelchair, there's no other good
Yeah,
teams.
it does, doesn't
Northern
it?
Hemisphere teams,
It feels like there's no other Northern Hemisphere teams to play against. Like it's always England or France.
Weren't Ireland quite strong at the World
They
Cup?
were, but I wonder why they don't get much of a look in.
I feel like there's a bit of a thing again with this women's game's been announced as well. I'm glad because it's good for the women's game, obviously, but I don't know. Is it going to be the best showcase, a spectacle? Probably not. It's going to be England hammering Wales. If we're being honest, I don't.
I think the thing for the England women's thing is obviously they're going to play the Gillaroos in Vegas, aren't they?
Yes.
They've got to get some games.
Yeah.
And this might just be a case of they were the only ones available.
You could do a Tri-Nations or something. You could get France in.
But they might. I don't know what France's women's rugby's got planned. I don't know what the rest of the nations have got planned. I can't say that I'm an expert in it.
It was meant to be Euros this year, wasn't it? Well, I just died of death. I've not heard anything about that. It's meant to be this year, the Euros.
So maybe Wales are the only one that have got a registered side that are happy to play.
Yeah.
Again, because of the last minute nature of rugby league.
Well, we're doing it last minute. Seems like next time the World Cups are going to be separate. By the way, it looks like England are going to be competing for the Women's World Cup, to host the Women's World Cup.
Oh.
The Men's World Cup is going to be down under.
Mm.
And then the one after that, I've seen some mad countries are in the bidding for that.
Yeah. The US were in it.
South Africa.
Yeah.
There's like a mad one like Kenya want to host it. I think something crazy. Central Africa want to host the Rugby League World Cup. I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine it, but you know what? If that's what it takes to inspire a couple of nations to...
Well, South Africa probably got the stadiums for it, but I don't think Kenya do. If it's Kenya, I'm thinking of it. There was definitely a Central African country, I'm sure.
It's interesting. Well, we'll see what goes with that. So, yeah, there's a couple of things, which again, it's nice to see some international things. I just think the wheelchair one's going to be good. It's always a good occasion when England play France in the wheelchair game, isn't it? And that's always a good spectacle to behold. So, that'll be a good one. And that, boys, wraps up the news for this week. I can't think really of anything else that's gone in the world of rugby league.
Nice one.
No.
That's it.
Right, come back and we'll have a look at the NRL. So we're going to have our Down Under debrief now, and we're going to start off with the West Tigers, who lose again to the North Queensland Cowboys. Do you want to just record that and just stick it in every time?
Because they don't always lose to the North Queensland Cowboys, but apart from that, it's very much copy and paste.
48 points to 30. They had a red card at 20 points to 14. Justin
Olam absolutely belted someone in the head for absolutely no reason. And some people were still saying it shouldn't have been a red card.
Just definitely a red, isn't it?
Just wallop someone in the face.
You've gone soft.
They say, if that wasn't Justin Olam, he would have only been given a yellow card. That's just not true. You can't belt someone in the face.
And you know what? We missed this in the news. I should have said the promising prop forward, Stefano. I'm not going to try and do his last name.
Manu or something like that, is it?
He's signed for Melbourne, 3-year deal. So they're going to lose him. That's a big loss for them. But was a complete implosion. In the 10 minutes after having a red card, they conceded 3 tries. 18 points, and
they just
game was over.
They just got sort of just getting back into it when he got sent off, and then once those 3 tries were given, then West kind of came back into it, and it finished 48-30. But weird games on a Thursday. Weird game. Thursday morning for us. Felt like Cowboys just put the queue on the rack twice.
Yeah.
And had more than enough. So I was a little bit disappointed. But West scored some unbelievable tries.
They've got brilliant play.
That Booler at fullback, we should check out his try. It was unbelievable.
But they're just going to keep losing them top players. They're spending big money. They brought in, obviously, Luai for next year. He's going to be a big signing. But
Luai, Taruva, both going there next year.
But who knows? Next game, Parramatta beat New Zealand Warriors. Puts New Zealand 6 points behind the 8. Plenty of teams in the way. Probably rules out their top 8 hopes.
Yeah.
Parramatta finding a bit of form now. They were 30 points to 4 up. Couple of late tries in the last 10 minutes really made this scoreline a little bit more respectable. But
For the Wars.
Big win for Parramatta. When they've not been in good form, to go to New Zealand and get a win.
Yeah, they needed it.
Yeah, it was a big game.
Because some of their young
Mitch Moses
stars,
either.
some of their young stars have been saying they're going to leave as well. Like that Blaze Talangi, he's going to Penrith.
he's gone. Yeah. He's not signed anywhere officially, but
He's gone.
no Mitch Moses. Winning without Mitch Moses is a big one for them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then a good game. I like this one. Dolphins versus the Roosters. The Roosters won 40 points to 34.
I'll tell you something, sorry, we've had 3 high-scoring games.
We have,
haven't we?
yeah.
48-30.
Defence is
30-20, 40-34.
defence is not on top.
But again, half-time was dead on even, 20 points to 20. The Hammer scores just after half-time, they got 26-24.
Yep.
Then the Roosters just put some points on for fun. Run away in the next 10-15 minutes, get it to 40 points to 26. Jack Bostock, he's loving a try at the moment, the winger for the Dolphins. Gets it to 40 points to 40 points to 32. Joey Manu gets sin-binned. And then, losing by 8 with 3 minutes left, they took the 2. It's always a difficult one, that, isn't it?
The maths says go for 2. Honestly,
I know it will, because you've got to then get field position again, but I just think sometimes getting that try is the hardest bit.
it'd say go for 2 more in this country because there is the 2-point drop goal they have, where you can still get 2 points without giving away a penalty. Because it makes sense to get within 6 because then you can just throw the ball around it. If you end up in the last second with the ball, you can try and score a try and convert it.
But for it just with 3 minutes left.
3 minutes is probably too late for that.
Yeah,
tactic.
if it had been straight after the Manu yellow card to give them 7 minutes where they needed a try, I'd have got it.
Yeah,
it just felt a little bit too late. Get the try first and you can have a pop of the 2 points or something like that. Another high scoring game. Gold Coast beat Brisbane 46 points to 18. They were 18-10 up, Brisbane. They were 12-0 up.
I saw this at half time that the Broncos were winning, and then when I checked the score again, I couldn't believe that Gold Coast had won by so many. Losing at half time to then win 46-18.
36 unanswered points against the team. I'll just point out what Brisbane were meant to be the competitors to Penrith. They were the ones that could beat them.
I mean, they were 18 minutes away from winning a grand final last year, weren't they?
Yeah.
If they had
They were
a
Nathan
solid,
Cleary away.
yeah, if they had a solid 10 minutes there, they would have been through.
Reece Walsh has been described as Superman, and in this game, I think he actually turned into Superman. Maybe one of his tackle attempts. I've not seen this. I think he has been doing the rounds on social media. It's the winger, isn't it, for Gold Coast, who's made a break, and he just comes over and just... Ryan Erkins was back in the Super League, but this is horrendous.
This is just what winds me up with fullbacks sometimes. That Ezra Mam actually then gets across and tackles the winger after Reece Walsh had just jumped between trying to stop a magical intercept. But Mam's then 2-on-1 anyway. If he takes his man, someone could potentially get across and make the tackle.
It shows the...
Just take the man with the ball.
It shows the duality of Reece Walsh, this, because he did score a nice try, didn't he? Or did he set one up? I can't quite remember. No, he scored 2, but one of them was particularly nice. And then he obviously has this Ryan Erkins moment where he takes off.
Just dives.
Just dives for no reason.
Doesn't even go for the intercept. He's like starfishing. Shocking. We're going to move over. Top of the table, Melbourne
Big
lose.
result, this one.
St George win 18 points to 16.
Huge.
A shock game of the round.
Yes, definitely shock of the round.
You said it, I'm gonna say it again. Just think Zach Lomax will be upset signing for Parra.
Yeah, probably. Although he has been at the Dragons a long time and maybe he needed a change, but his choice of change to Parra probably is upsetting him.
It's a big win for St George.
They're on the up, St George.
I'll talk about another big win.
They're in the 8 now, you know.
Yeah.
Just squeaking into the 8 past the Finns. It's all to play for, that 8. All to play for.
There's probably 11 teams that could make it.
Yeah, at least.
Another big win here for a team that had sort of let a rot start. Cronulla Sharks. The last 5 games they'd lost to the Dolphins, the Bulldogs, the Titans, the Cowboys, and beat West Tigers. That's no mean feat. But they beat the Rabbitohs 20 points to 6. The Bunnies have been in some good form, so this is a good win for them.
Yeah, a good win. Potential bogey skin.
probably puts an end to the Bunnies' chance of getting
Yes.
the top 8.
Yeah, well, the loss last week probably did that. But
Yeah.
I think
I
if
think
there
this
was
confirms
if they were
it.
holding out any hope, I mean, we're getting into like what are they now? 20 points. We're starting talking mathematically now, aren't we? If you start using the word mathematically, you're probably going to be
Out of it.
out of it. Yeah.
Penrith. They were winning without Nathan Cleary. And then you just put him back in. And
But trying 5 goals, that's just Nathan Cleary.
he's all right, isn't he? He's a good rugby player. 22 points to 14 to beat the Knights.
Yeah, the Knights they'll be targeting other games. So I don't think they'll be
I don't
targeting
worried about this one.
Penrith away as the one they need to win desperately. But yeah,
Couple of big weeks. They've got West Tigers next week, so that should be 2 points.
yep.
And that could push them back into the top 8 conversation. But they've got to win. Too many teams need to win at the moment. And then the Bulldogs played Canberra. Bulldogs win 22 points to 18.
Yeah.
That solidifies them, really. The 2 points behind the Sharks in 4th.
You're on about St George being on the up, but I think Canterbury has to be the most improved team since last season.
Yeah,
See, I think
sitting at 5th.
it's weird.
they
'Cause
were
I think
15th.
I think the Dragons are
Last
doing
year.
what the Bulldogs did last year. Just a bit better than what the Bulldogs were. Last year, Serraldo made a lot of changes.
Yeah, they finished
Brought in a
15th
lot of
for time,
play.
not 8th.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Georgia-
the Dragons
Georgia
are one
in the
step
8th.
behind them. I think they're one step behind them, but ahead of where they were last year.
Yeah.
So,
Bulldogs,
Raiders.
yeah, great one. They sold out Belmore, which is always worth mentioning. You know,
just to mention this, right? Have you heard what they're going to do at Belmore, apparently, for next season?
well, they beat up the Canberra Raiders drummer and pushed him over. I saw that, and they broke his drum.
Oh.
They did that. It was quite cruel. If you see that clip, you shouldn't laugh because it's about 20 on 1. If you watch the clip online,
I'm not laughing at assault.
someone videoed it. It was like 20 on 1 of the
I think it was the fact you said he broke his drum. That was the it was like, on the fact he's assaulted him and scared him 12 on 1 beat and he broke his drum.
But next week, St George play the Bulldogs.
Ooh.
2 teams that are in brilliant
Yeah,
form.
yeah.
Fight for the 8. There's been talks, will they move it away from St George and play at Allianz to try and get 35,000 at Allianz? But I want to mention this to the Bulldogs. There's talks about making Belmore members only. So you won't be able... You buy a season ticket for the Bulldogs, obviously they play a couple of games at different grounds.
yeah, yeah. They
When
do
they
that.
go to-
All the teams.
Yeah, all the teams do that. But when they play at Belmore, you won't be able to buy a ticket. It'll just be season ticket holders and a section for the away fans. So you might not sell it out.
I can't see from a business standpoint
No,
why that would want. Why is on that track?
That's the strong rumour at the moment.
Limiting your revenue.
Well, could you imagine if we bought a seat? Well, we are season ticket holders at Wigan Warriors, and then they said, "Well, actually, this next game is at Robin Park Arena. You have to queue up for your ticket."
Yeah, but the difference is they've not got enough season ticket holders to sell out Belmore.
Oh, have they not?
No,
Oh, right.
but they're just not going to sell tickets.
So they're just going to leave the rest empty. That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying from a business
That doesn't make
standpoint.
any. I thought they were doing it because there were too many.
I think the idea is to make more people buy season tickets because they want to go to Belmore
Well, maybe.
and they experience it because it's obviously one of the great grounds to go to.
I would have an issue with taking St George versus Canterbury and putting it at the Allianz because the Allianz for me is Sydney Roosters' home ground, and it's their home. But St George's spiritual home is in Wollongong with stadium, and if you take it away from there, it's quite far. If you just take the game away from there, even if the fans travel to it, you've
more
lost
like a neutral
You've
game.
lost. It's more like a neutral venue.
They
You've
lose
lo-
the advantage of
it's,
it.
it's probably closer to Belmore, but you lose your home advantage. Probably, I mean, you still have the fans in there, but you'd lose most of your home advantage, and
Well, moving it to Irons, all that would mean is you get more Bulldogs
you
fans.
get more Bulldogs fans in there, and you'd lose the soul of the St George fans. Because I've been to that stadium and it's really good, and it gets quite a good atmosphere. That stadium in Wollongong. Keep it there. Keep the home advantage. Don't go for the money. Go for the home advantage.
You can't move games. Once they're set up on a certain day, Just play them.
I disagree with playing regular season games at these big stadiums anyway when it's not your stadium and it's 14 miles away from your home ground. Play it at home, get your core fans in.
Imagine that. How much?
It'd be like us playing our home game against Lee, because there would be lots of Lee fans that want to go playing at the Etihad instead. Just doesn't make sense.
I'm just thinking about
it. Doesn't make sense. And you'd have and I've been to wherever, ANZ Stadium, whatever it's called now, and they've closed off 2 of the tiers, and it looks empty still. Big. It's way too big.
Yeah.
Play it at your home ground.
Right, I think that finishes our debrief of Down Under. We'll come back and we're going to do some predictions. We're going to rapid fire them straight through. So we're going to do predictions. Obviously 2 games for Wigan and Lee this week, so we're going to do them both at the same time just to save up on having to do different sections. First one, Wigan Lee tomorrow.
We're predicting
Tuesday.
Wigan and Lee?
Yeah, go on. Where do you see this game being?
Well,
I know we're all going to go Wigan, but I want your thoughts on it. I want your thoughts on
it. Well, Lee are probably going to try and beat us out wide. And it feels like whenever we play Lee, it's pretty much a stalemate for a while, and then we score some outrageous try that comes out of nowhere. So it might be something like that, but I'm not sure we'll have that moment of quality, obviously, without Bevan French. Potentially could see Jay Field rested for Saturday. He's not going to play 3 games in 9 days. So I don't really know.
If he does play, he certainly won't be playing 18
No, not
minutes.
playing the full game, no. So we might be looking at Eckersley to win us this game again.
I think a big thing is Tottenham being out for them. A lot of them relies on the likes of Owen Trout played at prop for them. He's mainly a second rower, 13.
I like Owen Trout.
I like him, but he's not a prop forward, is he?
I don't mind him.
A lot relies then on the likes of Aaron Penney and Robbie Mulhern to be the big ones up front.
Good props then.
They've got Asiata to back.
Yeah.
And he's playing 80 minutes now. So I think we're going to have to win it down the middle. We've got to dominate field position again.
We need to tidy up.
Yeah.
For me, if we know what we do, we complete high, we cut our errors out. Because Lee are a good attacking team, as we know, they can throw a good shape, especially to that left-hand side. So if we start dropping balls in our own half and inviting them in, giving penalties away and inviting them in, letting them make breaks, we're missing simple tackles like we've seen in recent weeks. We can't do that. We've got to tidy up this game, or else Lee will punish us. At least since they've been back in Super League, they haven't beaten us, have they? So they are going to be up for every game they play against Wigan, wanting to get the first win.
Partnership up left-hand side. McIntosh and Hanley. Hanley will be playing centre again.
On the right wing and right centre.
Yeah. Turning into a real attacking partnership. Hardacre likely to play full-back. Unless Moylan plays at full-back and they carry on with Hughes at 6. Whilst we're on it then, we might as well do Wigan Leeds on Saturday. Big loss for Leeds in Cam Smith, the captain.
Yeah.
Leeds aren't playing great, but he's always been the leader.
Yeah. There was a Leeds fan who said to us today that's probably good for Leeds and bad for Wigan because Cameron Smith's not been playing great.
I don't think that's necessarily
No, I don't
the
agree.
case.
I don't agree.
But I think this one's one with physicality.
Yeah.
Because the Leeds we know, it's been quite, maybe Brad Arthur might change, or he's trying to change things, but they've been quite easy to march downfield. So if we can just get playing flat and fast and physical with them, taking some big strong carries, finding our front, we'll find them rolling. I think we should roll them downfield quite easy.
We always talk about it because of where we sit at home games, but if I find myself leaning and looking towards our attacking end, the opponent's defensive line, we win this game. If it's end to end, I'm more nervous. If we complete well and end up turning the ball over in good ball.
Well, Leeds like a disruptive game, don't they? They like offloads, like off the cuff stuff. They're not really a kind of arm wrestle set for set plays.
Pretty similar to Lee.
Yeah, I just think if we dominate territory and complete well, we're favourites for both these games quite convincingly.
Yeah.
If we get drawn into playing in bad ball and make mistakes, then it's more 50-50. Is my opinion on that.
Yeah,
I
you're right.
agree.
Right, now we can do some proper predictions,
Let's
because
do them quick.
St Helens, Salford.
Tasty.
This is Thursday night.
Yeah.
At Saints.
At Saints, but Salford are above Saints in the table by 2 points.
Salford
On
usually
better
play
form
well.
than Saints.
Salford usually do
Salford
well
beat
against
Saints twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... No, I'll go first. I'm going to go for Saints for one reason. Their chief tormentor, Tim Lafayette, is suspended. He always plays well against Saints. He's not playing, so I'm going to go with Saints just for that reason.
I'm going to go Saints for a different reason. They have confirmed it. They've beaten twice.
Yeah.
This season. That's that. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think Saints can let them do 3 over.
3 times.
3 times is a big ask for Salford, especially when Saints all know they've lost to them twice. They're in front of their own fans. Their own fans are not going to like them for a 3rd time losing to Salford.
I'm going Salford.
I don't think it's
I'll
a
tell you why.
bad shout by any stretch. I don't think you're being stupid. By
Now, no Lomax still. No Wellesby.
Correct.
Robertson's going to have to play fullback again. And I think Sneed is going to go after him with his kicking game. He's going to try and manage the game from moment one. I think.
Smith went after him though, and he dropped one and then was alright after that.
But look at what Wigan did the week after they had the injury to French and Field, and they were missing both. You can step up once, missing them 2 again, and then missing them again, and missing them again. I think Saints are going to struggle. So, big return for them is Makinson. He'll make a lot of meters for them. I think they'll try and kick to him.
Personal back.
But I'm going to go Sneed to manage this game.
Fair enough.
And win it.
I don't think it'll be. 95% of people
No,
going
no.
Saints. I think a lot of people fancy Salford.
The form guide. If you
Toss
go
of
off
a
the form
coin.
table.
Toss of a coin this for me.
Yeah.
Right. Hull KR Castleford. Friday. 8 o'clock kick-off. Can you see Castleford making an upset?
No.
Hopefully
they make it competitive.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I think KR have to... It's a must-win this, because they've only got 2 more home games. Salford and Castleford.
Yeah, it's a must
They have to win them.
They have to win the home games, definitely.
And Castleford, I think, will be looking at the rest of the season. We're all going all KR there?
Yeah, okay for me.
Okay.
Huddersfield Catalans. Huddersfield not much to play for.
No, Catalan are still fighting. Yeah, give me a Sam Tompkins masterclass. Give me a Catalan victory by 6 points.
I'm going back to my old ways,
Yeah,
gents.
do it.
I'm going back to my old ways. For the simple reason of Catalans, I know I don't want to correct the earning against London. That's probably going to be Huddersfield's worst enemy this game. The fact that Catalans lost to London last week, they'll be out to avenge that. But I'm
Just not bringing anyone back. They're not. You're not like they're missing 6. They didn't rest loads.
They're
did
not
they, Catalan?
impressing me. I'm not impressed by it. Whenever I've watched Catalans this season, especially in attack, I have not been impressed with them. I'm not saying I've been impressed with Huddersfield at times, but yeah,
I'm joining you.
I think it's 50-50. I'm going to go Huddersfield.
I'm joining you and going Huddersfield.
Right.
Just because I think forget his name now. Who's the interim coach? Robinson. I think he wants the job. Last time he had it as interim, he openly came out and said he didn't want it and he was only doing it. He wanted to stay as an assistant. There's been no comments like that.
No.
I think he wants it long term. I think he's trying to put his hands all over this club.
They weren't great against us, and they weren't great against Leeds. They were competitive for an hour of all times.
They were better than Catalan losing to London.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were.
And I don't think there's anything you can say that rectifies that. Because it's not like they haven't... Listen, we always had a mess up in as well. Like we went to Wakefield and got battered. But we were missing like 11. They weren't missing that many. They're not missing many that will kind of come back this week.
No.
They didn't rest loads.
No.
I just can't see it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Good Huddersfield. Right, next one. This is no game on Saturday. 2 games on Sunday.
No, our game's on Saturday.
We're playing Saturday.
Oh, sorry, we're playing
already
Saturday.
predicted
Sorry,
Saturday,
yeah.
But there is a game for people to watch on Saturday. That's
Yes.
a good thing, There is something to watch on every day.
Yeah.
If you're not a fan of any team.
Sunday's game, both 3 o'clock kickoffs. London Warrington.
That's a shame. We should have put one at 5 o'clock. Oh, yeah.
Both of these teams have got to travel really far, though, to be fair.
Oh, have they?
It's London Warrington, so Warrington got to travel down to the capital.
Yeah.
And then it's Lee Hull.
Yeah, you could have put that one Saturday afternoon and maybe made ours 5. I don't know, whatever. I'm going to pick Warrington to win it.
Yeah,
Against
Warrington.
London, I think.
Warrington beat London.
That's a bit of a no-brainer, that one, I know. I mean, I'd love it if London could match that effort from last week, but I still don't think they'd win.
No. Warrington have to bounce back.
Oh, yeah. Warrington need a good performance. Still need some points.
2 days extra rest as well.
Points difference, yeah.
Lee Hull FC. I think this is the perfect game for Lee. Just off the fact of they play Tuesday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short of playing London, who they only just played,
Yeah.
and Cass, who they only just played. Well, I suppose they'd rather go to Oldham than go to the Jungle. But yeah, I think Lee are going
A
to win.
home game against a team that's been battered by Saints.
Oh, this is a home game?
It's at Lee.
Yeah, I think definitely Lee then.
I think this will be a game that Lee can. It's got the chance of being that. What was it called? Bogey skin.
A bogey
We called
skin,
it at the start.
call it a bogey skin.
But I think Lee will just be too good.
Yeah, I can't see the league losing this one. At home, Hull FC have to make a very long trip. That's Lee for me.
Right, all in agreement there.
Yep.
Right, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for coming on, lads. It's been a pleasure to have us all back.
No problem.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
We'll
Just
be
a holiday break.
It's just to remind everyone that will be an episode on Wednesday. 20 games into the season, we'll have a bit of a look at everyone's season so far and see where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, we'll review the Wigan and Lee game and we'll talk about people's run homes.
But thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure. See you all next time.